big group and do it already. Yeah. Maybe we can kick things off. That you want to start?
Sure. Yeah, welcome everyone. First, some general context. This is being put on by Shielded Labs with contributions from the Zingo team. And just in case you don't know, Shielded Labs is a protocol shop focused on making Zcash resilient, good, private, scalable money. And we're focused on projects that are about sustainability, security, and scalability that kind of have a long-term time horizon. So that's sort of our focus. And right now we're working on 3 different main projects: Crosslink, network sustainability mechanism, and dynamic fees. So these are all ways to bolster Zcash L1 protocol to be more resilient and economically responsive and sustainable. And that's our theme. So Crosslink is a project to provide finality, staking, and yield to Zcash in a way that strengthens its security. In the big picture, it extends the consensus infrastructure for Zcash from primarily just miners to miners with 2 new roles called finalizers and stakers. And then each role brings different strengths to the table. So miners are really good at ensuring the network is continuously available. They don't have to coordinate with anyone else to keep mining. And because of that, even if the network is partitioned or miners go offline or whatever, as long as there's some that remain, blocks keep getting produced. What they're not good at is ensuring there can't be rollbacks. So there's a probabilistic thing. We believe that's not good enough for a global currency because every counterparty is going to choose what rollback depth they feel comfortable with accepting, like a confirmation depth. And anytime any 2 parties differ in that, then if there's a rollback of that amount, it's going to cause a conflict between those 2 parties. And if there's a rollback of a given amount that segregates all of the entities, especially the large ones like exchanges, dexes, bridges, L2s, etc. If it segregates them into 2 camps, some who want to respond out of protocol to the rollback and others who want to just keep running with that rollback, it sets up the whole community for a chain split, sort of by design. And there's other problems with it. One is if you want to be totally safe, you should pick a deeper confirmation depth than everyone else who picks a confirmation depth, but that makes everything take longer and longer. And on the other end, most businesses, rollbacks are like black swan events. So you only want to be fairly as safe as possible to account for any real events, which is totally probabilistic guesswork. And other than that, you have strong pressure to be as quick and responsive as possible. So you have pressure to lower your rollback limit often or sometimes without even customers knowing. And so they don't even know they're taking on this risk that businesses have an incentive to take on for them, and less savory businesses are less transparent about that. So we feel like all of these are major concerns. And we also believe Bitcoin has these. And that's sort of the primary reason, we really believe finality is important. So the miners can provide the availability, but not that kind of finality as it's so important. Meanwhile, we introduce with this Crosslink design something called finalizers, and these are nodes running a BFT protocol to identify previously mined proof of work blocks to be considered final. And once a block is final, rollbacks past that block are no longer allowed by consensus rules. Um, and let's see, an important thing to notice about these finalizers is they don't have any discretion over what the blocks are or what the transactions are that go into them. So their role is pretty limited to just providing this finality status. And we believe that's like a good security design by sort of constraining their authority to as little as possible to achieve this one safety goal. And some more notes. Finalizers in the end protocol, we're not there yet, but in the end protocol, they'll receive a commission fee for doing the service. So if you were a finalizer operator, you run a node and you get paid for it. It's online connected to a BFT network and the proof of work network. That's what that does. And then there's this third role that's super important called the stakers. And we think of the stakers as the guardians of the network because what they do is put their ZEC up into staking bonds or staking positions from out of the orchard pool. And they use that to basically nominate which finalizers they believe are acting well. And the important thing is that decision is totally theirs. It's up to whoever wants to put their ZEC up. And so it's a decentralized decision making, but it's a human decision. Like you can use whatever criteria you want. And we believe that provides a kind of adaptability to protocol security that in-band consensus protocol rules can never have, because if you're coming up with consensus rules, you can never predict all the stuff that may happen and what exception or special rule could fix that. Doing that is very fraught with peril. So in our approach to the Crosslink design, we've tried to strip out most of those kinds of rules. So for example, some protocols have slashing rules where like if the protocol can observe X or Y happening, then maybe slash something. The problem with these rules is that might do the right thing sometimes, but it might also do the wrong thing. And it provides like a lever for attackers to try to misuse it. So all of those sorts of complexities we've tried to file off and rely much more on the discretion of the stakers, which we consider kind of like the guardians of the protocol in this Crosslink design. So the finalizers, just strengths and weaknesses again, the finalizers can provide finality, but they're terrible at network availability. Even if it wasn't a hybrid protocol, a pure BFT protocol, if a sufficient number of the voting nodes aren't connected in real time, then you can't produce new updates. So the network halts, and proof of work doesn't ever have that problem because as long as there's one miner, the network continues making progress. So that's the trade-off with these finalizers. And then the trade-off with stakers is they have this human discretion. It's human discretion. It could go bad, if they go wrong, they could not pay attention, so on and so forth. So part of our vision for how Crosslink can work well, and it kind of includes this sort of like cultural notion of stakers are performing a civic duty, and we should all be paying attention to stakers. Stakers should be paying attention to the network. They should be paying attention to each other. We should be having a lot of conversation if anything looks strange, so on and so forth. So it kind of leans on that human discretion in a way that's a little bit less usual in some crypto protocols, but not all. Okay, that's kind of the vision, where the design, where we're headed, and the process we're doing is by building out a prototype to sort of demonstrate all the pieces moving together in a way that is tangible. We can put stuff in front of people, they can actually use it. The prototype is written fast and loose to just make the stuff work approximately like it should in real life. or in production, but there's no guarantee it's like safe, bug free, that the design is right. Like there might be critical flaws in the design, so on and so forth. It's more of a like an exercise where we as engineers can explore how to implement the design and figure out all the design questions, and then also get it in front of users and participants and collaborators who are interested in Crosslink and want to check it out and see what it's like, so that we can all make a good decision. Is this something that should be activated in Zcash? Um, and where we're at with that process is we want to wrap up the prototype in Q1 of 2026. And that is the right time to really scrutinize it, figure out ways it can be improved, and sort of get community consensus. Like, should we move forward with activating this? And so if we do our job well, it should be really convincing, even though there are skeptics showing up, which is good. If we can't convince them, then that's good that they're able to protect Zcash from something that isn't hands down obviously good. Otherwise, if we can convince them, that's good for Zcash because we've shown that this is like really solid and everyone's behind it. So that's our goal. Finally, zooming in to this prototype process, we're doing these workshops and milestones. And so this is one of our, I think we have a few more milestones in store, but we're approaching the end of the process. And this one we're calling milestone 4B, because we had a 4 that we had to pop up a lot. And so this one's really exciting because it's the first one where we switch away from fake numbers for the proof of stake weight, and we actually hooked it in to the asset on the testnet, which we call CTAS. TAS is the name for testnet ZEC, and C for Crosslinks. So that's awesome because it's finally a real proof of stake, real testnet proof of stake. And it's also awesome because we have 2 GUI wallet demos for 2 different platforms, which is really exciting. I've always wanted to do this sort of full vertical stack upfront development for protocol changes, and we're finally getting there with this project, and with a lot of help from the Zingo team, who has made one of the wallets and also helped us a lot sorting out all of the wallet infrastructure underneath. So those 2 technical things are awesome, and then it's just awesome to have a second team join and contribute, so that Crosslink is starting to become more than just a single shop project. So with all of that, the agenda is we're gonna hear 2 folks share how to run the wallets and the finalizer node, and those will be more presentation-y, and then we want everyone to participate who is interested. And so after those sort of presentations, we expect it'll be a lot of like tech support Q&A, like how do I see this error, is that common? How do I get going? How can I get CTAS? How can I delegate it? How can I run a finalizer? That kind of stuff. It's all about participating. So we're glad you're here. We hope it works out. There's likely to be glitches and bugs and demo demons, but that's part of the fun. So welcome. And then for the first wallet, actually, before we proceed, does anyone have any upfront questions before we jump in, or comments before jumping into the wallet demos? There will be plenty of time afterwards for general discussion too. I don't understand how to understand the Discord interface, so I'm not sure if there's any hands raised or anything. So I'm going to hand it over, I think, to Andrew to do the presentation for the Shielded Labs wallet.
I think we're starting with Judah to do the map,
okay.
and then I'll do the Windows one following that.
Oh, sweet. Okay, Judah, welcome. Thanks.
Hello, hello. All right, let's do a quick walkthrough of the Windows install and then do a quick overview of the desktop wallet. So if I open up again from this page, we'll hit the Win32exe variant. Save that somewhere. And then you can either launch this directly from the terminal or from Finder or from the Windows Explorer. For the sake of this, I'm going to launch it directly from the terminal, and with slightly fewer security precautions than Mac, I'm just going to type in ZE, hit Tab to autocomplete, and hit Enter, and we're running without any extra checks other than this network question. I'm going to hit Allow on that, and we're running. Okay, let's just scroll out a bit of that so doesn't wrap quite as much. Okay. Let's see. If I just scale this up a little bit, I can hit Control+ to scale it. So hopefully that's a bit more visible for you. And yeah, this is the all new Crosslink visualizer and wallet. So we have in the center the replacement from scratch of our node visualizer. We have both the proof of work and the proof of stake chains being shown here. So on the left, in this cyan color, is the proof of work chain. And you can see every so often there are side chains that come off, but the best chain is in the center of the screen here. And then on the right, we have the proof of stake chain, the BFT chain. And that's in red. You can see we only ever have a single chain of that. There are no side chains. And then you can also see that we have arrows from one chain to the other. And these links go in both directions, creating what we call crosslinks. And so, let's see. I think to get started, we can do things like hit our receive CTAS on the faucet over here. The wallet is arranged so that we have the kind of global information about the network on the right and the user-specific information on the left. Now, so I am still syncing. As you can see, all of these blocks coming in with their lovely animations. Has anyone who's hello?
Sorry, this is awkward, but I forgot an important thing, which is the disclaimer that this software isn't going to be like as safe as production wallet software. So we don't think it's like, we don't know about like any vulnerabilities, but it's always possible. It should be treated like basically anything you download from the web, like any app or any open source software you build, in terms of risk. Just wanted to share that.
Thank you. Yeah. So as you might have noticed, I didn't have to do any config generation setting up here. So just for the sake of the workshop, we are randomly generating a seed for you. So if you close the program and open it again, it'll be using the same seed. And then that seed is used to create both a wallet and also a proof of stake finalizer address if you join the finalizer network during the rest list. So let's see. Oh yeah, so as well as getting your own wallet and your own finalizer address, everyone who is participating in this workshop will be mining. So we're going to be producing lots and lots of sidechains, and hopefully through that we'll be showing the value of Crosslink in making sure everyone agrees on the finalized prefix. Now, is anyone at a height higher than 157 on theirs, or do you think we're up to date here?
Same height.
164. Yeah, so as Nate implied, this is kind of a vertical slice of functionality. We are using real CTAS to do the staking and unstaking, and we are sending genuine transactions. But the the encryption of the staking is currently being glossed over slightly. So this is we effectively are treating a wallet like a pool that has the reward for proof of stake blocks as well as the normal proof of work block rewards. And so once we have some funds, once we've staked an amount, we'll be able to see that the accumulated value of that growing as we receive block rewards for helping improve the security of the network. Right. So as well as having everyone mining, we also have a much faster block time than mainnet. And so this is just going to exaggerate any of the effect of generating sidechains. I think a 4-block sidechain on mainnet is pretty rare, as I understand it. But that'll be happening quite frequently here. And you can see that at a height 168, we received a faucet transaction with a very friendly message in the memo. So that's using the regular shielded orchard pool. So now that we have some funds, we can see that they are pending in the main section of the wallet. And soon that'll go into our spendable funds here. It's going to have to give that a sec. And there we go. With a few more blocks on top, it is now spendable. And that means we can stake. So I would like to become a finalizer, so I'm going to stake to my own public address. So I can copy my address here, hit stake, paste address, and then click a value. The current plan is to have powers of 10 values to reduce the variability in the different staking amounts and therefore leak less information about the user. So we can see that we've staked at this height. Is everyone able to see the screen okay? Just before I get too far ahead.
I can see it.
And we should be able to see we have that's so someone else has joined the roster list. You can see the 6325 public key, which is different from mine. Anyone want to own up to being the other finalizer?
So we figured out how to become a finalizer. Nice. It was jweber_DCG from ZechHub. Nice one.
Now just to highlight the issues of a proof of work only chain, which is effectively the case immediately above the BFT tip. My staking transaction just ended up in a sidechain. History went on along a different path, and therefore my staking was retroactively disabled. So I'm gonna have to paste it again and send it in again. And so we'll see that every time the BFT chain finalizes a new proof of work block, the values in the roster list will update to show the reflected new stakes given all of the rewards being paid out. So it looks like I have now ended up actually in the finalizer list, and in the background, that'll mean we start getting a bunch more of these more detailed messages about what's happening on the BFT network as we start getting included in the communication and the decision making there. So I can also send and receive funds as normal. If anyone wants, would anyone like to send me a UA address for their workshop version, their workshop wallet? I can send something in. Mike G, thank you. Right, so send, paste it in, and I can send you 1 CTAS. And while we wait for that to go through, if we click on the unstake list, each of our staking positions will be listed here, both with showing the full accumulated value, and then also hovering over will show you the initial value of that. Now look. Oh, thank you. Yes. Yeah. So we have the stake value there. So at 183, I sent to Mikey G. Let's make sure I'm. All right, get some of these addresses. Mikey G, let me know if you see that come in on your screen. Okay, yeah, let's unstake this address, and the unstake is the kind of shakiest part of this demo version, as it relies on it's no longer atomic, unlike all the other operations that are going on. That obviously is not the final design. That's just how we're implementing this this particular vertical slice. Mikey G, I see the 0.999 CTAS 185. Brilliant. Right. See. Right, so I click unstake there, I click unstake there, and currently staking positions are treated kind of like UTXOs. They're atomically unstaked as a whole. They're non-divisible. Sorry, atomic is not the correct term. They're indivisibly stored, but they are. Ooh, someone sent. Yeah, Crosslink finalized. So just a bit about how we have a faucet working, which is just basically everyone is mining, and everyone is mining to the same wallet. That wallet is acting as a faucet that doles out both faucet funds that we can receive here, as well as the proof of stake reward that you get for staking to the finalizers. And we can see that the unstake has come through successfully, and we staked 1 CTAS here, and we earned, well, our total returned was 1.8. So we've made a huge profit, and we've been good citizens, helped the network, and all is good. Now, I think I'll probably pass over to Dorian here to intro the iOS app, unless anyone has any particular questions before we do that. Now, we can see that even though this sidechain is longer than the one over here, that because we finalized one, that means enough people have agreed on that is now set in stone as reality for the rest of time, and so all future transactions, all the future blocks have that as an ancestor. And state backed up. Strat, are you running on? Are you running the GUI version, or are you running a CLI version? Jenkins. All right, I'm just going to give a sec for any more questions, and then I'm going to pass over to Dorian. It looks like the finalizer list is growing, which is nice. Okay, I think I'm going to pass over to Dorian. Are you happy to share your screen in a sec?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. All right, it's all yours.
Let me see if I can share here. It's disabled the button. Any ideas? I cannot seem to share my screen right now. I think the button is disabled. Wait, I think I got it. Okay, I got it. Can you see my screen, guys? Okay, cool. So, well, basically, what you have to do to get this app is to go and download TestFlight, which is an app to where you can distribute beta versions. And you have to click on this link. I will paste here again just in case. And what you do, and it will appear on TestFlight, and you will be able to open it. Once you do, you'll see this screen, which is basically the server selection screen. Right now we have two. We also had a custom option, but that was just for testing, so ignore it. So yeah, you do test connection. To say connected, you press continue. Normally you would create any wallet, do that. And yeah, this is the main screen. Pretty standard for a wallet. You are able to either send some funds, receive some other funds, and stake. But right now, let's do maybe why not? One of you guys send me some CTAS, if you have any. I'll paste it here just in case. I also send it from the desktop wallet, so in moment now I should have one. Oh, 10. Nice. That should be enough. Do you have the height, Mikey? You can also see here in server to see basic indexer information, just in case you're not sure you're behind on chain. Okay, got it. Time to just well, maybe I should go ahead and explain how the rest works, like give an overview. This is the staking view. You press stake, you select an amount that you already have in your wallet, you enter your finalizer address, which if you're also running your desktop wallet, you'll see I think to the top right. Am I right, Andrew?
For the sorry, the finalizer address in the desktop is in the top right.
Yeah. And what you you send a stage second here. Here it will show up as state. Actually, which was no transaction.
Uh-oh. Yeah, your voice is getting a little robot-y.
Oh, hello, can you hear me?
Yeah, now you're clear.
Okay. Sam, maybe try updating the wallet. I will share with you the link. Anybody else the same height? Do not connect to index. So got it. Is your transaction still pending, Mikey? No. All right. Anybody else that wants to send? Choose the address. Oh, the indexer URL. It's It's either this one. Or that one. Oh yeah. Okay. Now I got 3 cross-sections. Well, still pending. One confirmed. So I should be able now to do some staking. Let's try that. Nope, staking. Anybody wants me to stake with a finalizer address?
I think Andrew sent one a little earlier in the chat. Maybe use that.
Oh, yeah. So let's say that I have, yeah. Oh, I now have 2. Nice. Okay, let's take just one. Check the logs for that one. There seems to be some issues here. Trying to fix that. Anybody else try to do some staking? Fix mine, please. Okay, sure use. This. What is?
So when I try to stake, I put in the finalizer address that Andrew provided, and then I hit the stake button, and nothing happens.
Nothing happens. The same as me?
Well, it looks like the same thing that's happening with you. It doesn't look like a process.
No. Sure. Really? Yeah. No, I'm the logs. That's why. But it doesn't seem to want to work now. I think it's something near. Finalize. Ah, okay. Oops. All right, I got a finger now. Is everybody else getting a failure in transactions or not working? Having an issue with my CTAS. That's on mobile or on desktop? This map. Yes. Yes.
I'm not sure, Andrew. I hit the receive. I see it 4.99. It confirms and then it just disappears, like it refreshes and it resets. I'm not sure what's going on. Yeah, so just a heads up to everybody, we sort of increase the amount of chaos in the test net by making the mining difficulty pretty low. So when you join, the testnet miner starts running and you just start producing blocks, which is why we see these long reorgs, which is what we want to be able to detect issues at this level. But this is also causing the CTAS discrepancies that we're seeing in the resets. And Sam explained in the chat too that we sort of, as a workaround to some issues that we were having, restart syncing from 0 every now and again. So when you see your CTAS drop to 0 and then reappear, that's sort of what you're seeing there. If anybody else wants to fill in the gaps with what I said, that's fine. But that's, expect chaos, as it were.
Well, I'll just say, if you request from the faucet is going to be very contended, because we run in each version of the desktop program, we run a miner wallet, which is operating the faucet. And so when many people pressing the button, if two people create transactions to send themselves money from the faucet that use the same notes, only one of those is going to succeed. I think there may be a bug as well with, since you're mining locally, if transactions go into your local mempool and then go into a block, they may not be propagated to everybody else, or just as a contending transaction, so it becomes invalid. So you may see, I received TTAS, and it's because you're locally forking. And so you have your parallel universe where you receive some CTAS, but then Crosslink does its thing and you get corrected on the main chain, but then you don't have the CTAS.
Okay, got it fixed. Seems like it wasn't my own bad. Yeah, so literally with the staking here, if we go to transactions, we should be seeing the same amount that is going to the miner address. And we are attaching some information that points the miner to the finalizer public key. So at some point we should see this confirmed. And when we do, that means that we're already staking. Oh, can see this. I'm moving the phone.
So I wasn't able to stake, but what was interesting is that I went to unstake and I had some ZEC that was already staked that I was successfully able to unstake.
Huh.
So that seemed to be working fine. But what I noticed is that in the movements tab, which is supposed to show the transactions, I don't see the unstaking aspect.
Yeah, so what we do is we filter, like, staking and staking transactions have some metadata associated with it. And so we filter them and we show them in movements. So that's why it's kind of strange that you're seeing it for unstaking. Can you see my screen now?
No, it's still
Frozen. Okay, let me try again and change. Yeah. What about now?
Is anybody else on mobile that might be able to share their screen?
Yeah, I'm gonna post a screenshot I just got. I got something to work.
Recording's back now.
Okay.
Anybody that did not update to the latest version got it working? That would also be.
Keeps cracking.
What about now? And you see the second screen now.
Yes, I can see it.
Yeet.
Okay. So yeah, here's the transaction. Confirm some confirmations. Let's do some staking now. This issue may be due to the latest update that we pushed at the last minute. So if somebody didn't upgrade, maybe try that. It may work. Anyway, let's do some unstaking. Let's do unstake the maximum amount and unstake. This is rather. At some point, we should see the same transaction. So what should be happening here? Is when you press unstake, you are sending a transaction, a 0 sec transaction to the miner with some metadata, and later you should be receiving a transaction from the miner address with all of your sec back plus the rewards. It doesn't seem to. It doesn't seem to. Okay.
Well, I was just gonna say because we were short on time for this workshop, we have not modified the ledger logic to do these payouts. So instead, yes, you submit a transaction which unstakes, and then we detect that there's a machine detecting that transaction to then issue a transaction that sends from the faucet or the faucet pool sends back the CTAS to you with rewards.
Well, I'm seeing now that the previously, like the staking request that I sent, it's now like at some point it was being confirmed again. That's weird. Like unless right, unless the transaction that we're building is not in the same format that the miner is expecting, right? That will have to.
Yeah, that could be. There could be a bug there on mobile.
Yeah. Anybody else got it to stake at least and not unstake, or the same situation as Jason, the way around?
I saw Chris say he wasn't able to stake. Has anybody been successfully able to stake on mobile?
Anybody on another version too? Twice via desktop. Nice.
Okay, Strad's not able to. Um,
Yeah. So I stick to myself.
Oh, those are very peaceful outside my window of my office here, in Colorado. Oh, this is fun for me.
So Mazipa should be something in the desktop wallet, right? For if I had to take them.
Yeah, so just on the... Sorry, Mark, go ahead.
No, I just say Mikey G unstaked. So somebody made the full round trip. Nice.
Nice.
that's a gold bat right there, right?
It must be.
So, yeah, just to explain a little bit the delay on staking. So there's actually 3 delays as part of that. There's the initial I send my unstake action to the network. We wait for that to get into a block. We then wait for the miner to sync to that block with enough confirmations on top of it. They then send another transaction to the network that has to make it onto a block with the possibility that at any point here stuff goes into a side chain rather than on the main chain, best chain. And then there's the final delay of we have to see that actually happen. We have to sync to see that final movement of CTAS back to our wallet.
I sent a couple of, and I sent a couple of data to some people so that they can trade. I sent you one, Nate, but it's still sending. Mempool.
Yeah, I don't see. It says there are no transactions yet, so I don't know if and it says synced. And I'm using the server IP address 45 dot something.
Okay, we're on different servers.
Netikom, I just sent you one CTAS.
Oh yeah, a much requested GUI feature is the ability to zoom in and out. You can navigate the chain better, which turns out is very handy.
Yeah, it's a great feature.
Okay. Orion, I just got CTAS. Thank you.
Nice.
Do with this.
Jenkins, to answer your question, the utest strings are addresses like a regular U address on mainnet, and the finalizer strings are their public key. That's how we're identifying them now.
It's a 32 by ED 25519 public key.
Yes, thank you.
Yeah, one sort of open usability design question is how to encode those. Like presumably we'll figure out some encoding as some prefix so you can sort of recognize it. But then there's an interesting question. I assume a fraction of users will always confuse those with addresses. So we need to make sure we have like different terminology. And then also it would be nice if wallets can notice if things get pasted in the wrong place and help users. But that's all future work.
So, were other people able to stake and unstake with the desktop wallet?
Says Mikey.
Yep.
Kit, did you get your CTAS I sent you?
Yeah, I mean that's the same Kit. That's the same issue that I'm running into as well.
So just to clarify, the red nodes are the BFT nodes, and the finalized node is the one that they're pointing to. So they're finalizing a proof of work block.
Somebody
Get that up on the screen if you can. Let's get. Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you, Dorian.
I think only one of us can. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you. If Discord lets me.
I was only able to share it with the button in the middle, not on the left.
Dorian, are you able to stop sharing your screen? It's currently showing an infinite loading screen. Me on you.
Oh, I have stopped already sharing.
Interesting. Is everyone else seeing that, or is that just me?
I just see a gray box, which is way more boring than an infinite recursion. I personally love recursions.
Right. I am streaming again. People like to see this?
Yeah.
So, this is our BFT tip, currently 108 on that side, and it's pointing to this block 319 on the proof of work side. So we would consider this 319 and all of the blocks below it on the proof of work chain to be finalized. these blocks above are still kind of volatile and subject to reorg.
It'd
And
be
then
cool if there were a
as you-
visual of that.
Sorry.
Sorry to interrupt. You were just pointing and describing how that one and all the ones that are its ancestors in the chain were considered to be finalized. And that made me think, oh, that'd be cool if it were visually shown. Like they could be a different color or whatever. I'll be quiet.
Right, yeah.
Go on. Go on.
It has been there's code, but then the code is currently off because of crunch for deadline.
Yeah.
Sorry.
So that was the case in the previous visualizer. This visualizer has been rewritten from scratch, and that is onto the to-do list to add back in.
Sorry, I missed some of the details about staking with the iOS wallet. So I just clicked on the stake button and didn't see a response, which I heard people say. Should I wait a while, or can I go back to the main screen and poke it more?
That's build 9, the latest version, right?
I'm not sure which build it is, but I just installed it like 10 minutes ago.
Okay, then probably, yeah. Try going back to the build 8, maybe.
Or can I just press the stake button again, or is that gonna confuse it more?
Probably.
Do the different amount?
Probably build 8 is better.
Okay. Yeah, real quick on that. So when I had the build 8 and then I deleted it off my phone before this and downloaded build 9. So can you just repaste the link for build 8? Because I don't see.
Oh, it's the same one, but you have to go to test flight, and if you scroll down, you will see the other builds.
Yeah, okay.
I got you for the screenshot. Right?
So if you saw a previous visualizer, you'll remember that it was very difficult to kind of make out what was happening when there were lots of sidechains. We had lines drawing all over the place, and like the nodes bouncing off each other in a four direction layout. Now we have this kind of much more analytic, easier to read diagram where it's we're laid out with the best chain always central, and then you can see that these the links from the side chains to the proof of stake chain are very faint unless you hover over the blocks that they correspond to. Right. So basically, we are trying to make sure that we're all using a shared history, and so in order to make sure that there isn't some completely bogus proof of stake block that is pointing to fake data that someone has generated, we make sure that the proof of work nodes are pointing to a consistent history of proof of stake nodes. So it's basically just saying, this is the last proof of stake node that I was aware of when I mined this block. And so if it's not sufficiently recent, then other nodes will reject it as an invalid block. Feel free to correct me on that, Nate, or anyone, if I'm making any mistakes there.
Sorry, I missed that. I was distracted. You want to try again?
Oh, just the links from the proof of work to the proof of stake are basically just trying to ensure that we're all using a consistent, mutually consistent history, making sure that we're not pointing to some garbage data that points to some other garbage data. And so we have a validity rule, basically, that we the proof of stake block that a proof of work block points to has to be at least as recent as the proof of work block ancestors target proof of stake block. Sorry, that's quite complicated, but
it's you can think of it, it's a monotonically increasing pointer. So it's always legal to not observe any new activity of the proof of stake chain from proof of work. Because, that's the situation. If BFT were to stall, proof of work just needs to continue. So it's always legal to just have the same pointer across as your parent. But then when we point to a new BFT block, what we're saying is, okay, now the proof of work ledger is observing what has occurred in proof of stake land and the finalizations that have happened and the voting, etc. And that's when we do payouts. So payouts get realized at that point.
and we can see that as a new proof of stake comes in, we'll be able to see these updates shortly afterwards. There's a slight discrepancy in the way that we're getting our visualizer data from the way that we're getting our wallet data. So there's a slight desync there.
Nate.
Yeah.
We have a question for you. What is BFT? What is Byzantine fault tolerance? And why do we need it for this?
That's a great question. So my understanding is somewhat of a black box, but it is a protocol where nodes basically vote on some consensus value. So it's a protocol where there's like rounds of voting, participants in a roster. And so it is the basis for like a branch of the proof of stake protocols, especially starting with the Cosmos chain or Cosmos tech, because that tech started by taking BFT protocols, which were like older protocols it used sometimes, but known about in academia. And then they wanted to like basically hook proof of stake into that. So one of the properties of it is that if you see on a new update with enough signatures from the correct roster of nodes that should be voting, then as long as enough of the nodes aren't malicious, that everyone else who sees the update will agree that the value is like a shared value everyone has. In our case, we're using proof of work blocks for that. So that's how we know everyone has seen this proof of work block who is paying attention to the BFT stuff. And therefore since we all know, we all see it, we all know it's now safe to be considered final. But the BFT protocol has this drawback where if there's not enough, like if you're disconnected from too many of the voting nodes, then you can't complete a vote. And so the protocol basically stalls. So the BFT style proof of stake chains like Cosmos Hub probably, or things like that, they can halt, which is, some people really don't like that. I mean, it's obviously bad for everyone, but there's a trade-off. So those chains can halt, whereas proof of work like Bitcoin never halts, but it can always roll back, and you don't know how far it can roll back. So Crosslink is trying to put those next to each other so that you can rely on some of the guarantees of each in the right contexts. And that's similar to what Ethereum does today, even though Ethereum is fully proof of stake, but it actually has two sub protocols, and one tries to be like proof of work in a way, and then the other one's kind of like a finality gadget. How's that answer? Oh, and then the name BFT stands for Byzantine Fault Tolerance, and it comes from this scenario described earlier that sort of like kicked off research to solve this problem. And it's based on like the story that for some reason involves Byzantine generals, like Byzantium or something. My history is not that good, but they're like surrounding an enemy, but they're very far apart from each other, like a day's ride or whatever. And they need to make sure that there's different generals. They want to make sure that they all agree when to attack. And if they attack accidentally when the other ones aren't going to attack, it'll be a disaster. And so the problem is, how can you be sure that all of them know that the other ones all know the same attack times? Especially if some of the generals are actually evil double agents. And that's sort of like the metaphor that gave rise to that kind of research, or BFT protocols, which are like a pre-crypto consensus protocol, basically. And stuff. It's good to have stories like you have to attack the enemy at dawn, but you're not sure if it's this dawn or the next dawn. Keep things interesting.
Yeah, and that's an interesting distinction. We use proof of stake to achieve Byzantine fault tolerance. So they're kind of two separate things, but two related and dependent things.
Oh yeah. So one other the way it gets tied to proof of stake is the original BFT stuff is just like there's 10 nodes and they're like servers somewhere, and each one can vote and they have one vote. The main thing about proof of stake, well, there's different approaches, but the Cosmos style proof of stake is, there's stake assigned to the voting nodes, and the more stake, the bigger their voting weight. So if there's like one node with a lot of stake, its vote is bigger than a node with a little bit of stake. And that sort of ties it to the economic part of the crypto. And so one last detail, that's why I often try to say BFT or proof of stake to be a little bit more precise. If I'm talking about the BFT protocol is a little bit like, once we have the stake is just tracked by the roster state of the proof of work node. Like there's normal the transactions have staking operations, just like other fields in Zcash transactions, like orchard transfers or stuff like that. So the changes to the proof of stake state come from those transactions, and the full nodes are watching the transactions. They see those kinds of fields, and they build up a table, what we call a roster of which finalizers have stake assigned to them. And then we sum up all of the stake for a given finalizer. And this is all a table that's sort of in memory, and it comes from the proof of work blockchain. And it's about how much CTAS is assigned to which keys and whatnot. And so far, all of that is just in proof of work land, even though it's about proof of stake state. And then Crosslink uses that and plugs it in to a BFT protocol. So the BFT protocol doesn't need to know about ZEC or transactions or anything. It's just given a list of like, here's a bunch of voting keys and how much weight each one has. So that provides kind of a nice clean separation. And that means it is relatively easy for us to swap out that protocol for different protocols in the future. But right now we're just using the quickest, easiest, dumbest one we can implement just to prove it out. But future versions of Crosslink could definitely make improvements on that side. Like, you keep talking unless somebody mutes me.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
I'm trying to interrupt.
Yep.
Newsflash, somebody said that they were able to stake
Or ask
with
some new questions.
wait, Why is Nate still talking? Okay. Anyway, somebody said in the chat that they were able to stake
On the mobile-
version 8 of the mobile wallet.
I don't see any stake
Apparently, the
position
newer version 9
to
added
put
a
with
button.
stake. See if I get free money. I heard somebody else.
It seems like
Somebody text Nate. Tell him he's deafened.
Oh, was I talking over somebody?
He doesn't know he's
Yeah.
Here, Zuko.
Okay,
I think he's deafened.
that's weird. I couldn't hear anyone else.
Yeah. My Discord has crashed twice during this, which really just shows the power of the, like prototype, Crosslink, demo demons, chaos monkeys. And I think Nate's Discord has apparently crashed him too. But anyway, somebody try to stake with mobile wallet version 8 instead of version 9. Okay.
Yeah, it looks like some successes now, which is great.
Yeah.
Is it possible to leave this up for a while so people, maybe for the rest of the day, so people can continue to try to stake with version 8?
Yes, we will do that.
Awesome.
There's been a bit of discussion about exactly what the proof of stake blocks are referring to, and I just restarted so that we can get a better view on that. So the proof of stake blocks require a certain amount of work to have been done on the proof of work side in order to finalize a block, and that is operationalized by the number of blocks that it refers to. So it's so this proof of stake 110 here is currently referring to 3 proof of work blocks. This value is probably going to change, and I believe it's more like 10 in Derek Emma's and Nate's original discussion around it. But we can see we can see over here around 112 that the blocks coming off onto this side chain here are actually the headers that this is referring to. Now, only the lowest of those is the one that is actually finalized, and it is fine and expected that the other headers might not end up on the best chain. Whereas down here, all 3 are above on the best chain. On 111, 1 is not on the best chain, and then on 112, 2 are not on the best chain.
Your question about the miner address and the staking UI?
Is that in mobile or desktop?
I think this was this is in the version 8 of desktop. I think this was of mobile. Yeah. I think this was actually is Dorian here?
Yeah, it's the finalized address. So it's the public key of the. You can correct me if I'm wrong, but it's the public key of the BFT node. Is that correct?
The miner address in the staking. I think this was a previous version where the kind of faucet, the reward faucet miner was being specified explicitly rather than being kind of done in the background, as it's not really a user level concern. Does that make any sense, Chris? It'll send the initial stake there, and then there won't be a miner there set unless you've specifically set one up to actually do the unstaking action. So you'll just basically just be sending stake into the ether. Well, if I remember correctly, it will show up as staked value to the finalizer. But that's kind of an incidental thing for this demo. That's not the real design. It looks like we've got lots of people finalizing, which is great.
Yeah, and then you can picture like a public dashboard where you can see all the finalizers, their addresses, and what their weights are and stuff like that. So that's kind of a preview of what a website like that might look like. So now that we've got some successes going, should we
We've been going for an hour and a half. Do we want to go for a little longer, answer questions, troubleshoot with anybody who hasn't been able to do any staking or unstaking actions?
So for the mobile app, are we supposed to use version 9 or 8? I'm confused.
Version 8.
Version 8. Yeah. We're pushing another one, but it may take a while.
Okay. And Dorian, so you didn't have any luck connecting the faucet?
No, we decided that it was going to be manual.
Okay. Yeah, go ahead.
I mean, yeah, I wasn't going to give. Yeah, it was basically just it would have required a lot of plumbing through various different places with the possibility that we broke other things, and so we decided that it was better to have the things that we knew could be working. So we knew that we wanted to send funds to people, and but there's also the tactical element that by not having one, we force everyone to use it on the force everyone who's using the app to communicate in the chat and become more active part of the workshop.
Yeah, and it was
to request funds.
Yeah.
Please send 1 CTAS to this address. No problem. So if we look at the unstake menu here, a couple of things to point out. So one is just that we have these all corresponding to single staking transactions that have to be undone as a whole. The other is that that's true even when multiple of them are to the same public address. And then the other thing is that these 3 of these started with the same initial value, but they've all ended up at different current accumulations just because of the block rewards. They were done at different heights, and so they've received block rewards. So some of them received more block rewards. Also, the ones which were earlier, we would have received a larger proportion of the block reward because we were a larger proportion of the total stake when that block went through.
I'm going to start to wrap up a bit. If people still have questions, definitely ask them in the chat. But just a few things I wanted to say before people start dropping off, and that's first off, we really appreciate everybody participating in today's workshop. Hopefully, overall, it was fun and interesting. I know we ran into some bugs, but this was always intended to be sort of a bare bones experimental workshop. We're going to do another one in mid-January that'll build on what we covered today and be a little bit better. What we think we'll have by then is like the wallets will have an improved user interface, will have a better UX, and then there will be more staking actions. Like you'll be able to choose a finalizer, you'll be able to redelegate, you'll be able to see how your delegation is distributed across finalizers, and we're planning on doing that one in mid-January. We're aiming for Wednesday, January 14th, but it may be the Wednesday after, depending on how things unfold with the holidays coming up. Also want to give like a few shout outs, like big thanks to Dorian and Wonky from the Zingo team for putting together the test Zingo mobile wallet, which is super cool. Thank you to Sam, Andrew, Judah, Philip, and from Shielded Labs for all their hard work to put this together. And thanks to the Zec Hub team. Vito helped let us use the Discord stage and helped organize the event. Dismat attended our test runs and helped with support. And Jason did some comms and created some Crosslink NFT badges, which he can provide the link for if people are interested in claiming. Other than that, I just had one request. Like if you enjoy these workshops, or if you support Crosslink, or if you just appreciate the work that Shielded Labs is doing, it would be really helpful if you could share your thoughts on the forum or on X. There's a small but very loud group of people who are strongly against Crosslink because they think it sort of detracts from the encrypted Bitcoin narrative. And we definitely respect their view. We want to have and encourage constructive dialogue around this upgrade. But I think it's important for the community to hear from people who are not part of Shielded Labs, who are attending these sessions, who support Crosslink, who find value in the work that Shielded Labs is doing. So any feedback or public support you can offer is very much appreciated. And then Jason, are you up here? See if he's still here. Squirrel.
There we go.
Hello, everyone. Yes, thank you for participating in this afternoon's workshop. So I've posted in chat a link to a survey. It's like a 2-question survey. Give us any feedback. So did you run into bugs? What kind of issues did you come across? What did you perform during the workshop? And you can claim an NFT. So you will need an Ethereum wallet. But yeah, that's about it. There's 3 different rarity levels for the badges, and there's a good chance maybe in future workshops we can use this as like a token gate to get, I don't know, CTAS or something. That's about it.
And remember, 1 CTAS equals 7 TAS. So, get it while it's hot.
All right. Well, thank you, everybody.
Yeah, that was great. Way to go. Woo.
Yeah.
Okay, and I'm going to post a link to the forum with the build 8 or whatever new build Dorian's going to post. And it'll give people the opportunity to continue to test if they want to on mobile.